Okay, so moving on now to issue 16. Issue 16 has got quite an interesting front cover, actually. Again, it seems to be carrying on with the concept of the Free Cities. Quite interesting looking people here, in a sense that you've got. Yeah, I find actually, I'm just going to get this out. You get quite a lot of terrain in this, but I want to see this here. I find the look of this person here on the front cover very intriguing. Now, partly because they look like they have like what you might call traditional Free City, garb. The kind of striped, the the capes with the collars, but the way that the armor is structured looks very unique compared to others. So obviously I find that lovely to look at. I don't think I've ever seen a model looking like that, and I would love it in the future if that is what they're going for, maybe for part factions within the Free Cities. So that would be quite a nice thing, because if you look at this, what's obviously a handgunner in the background, he looks very old school Empire, but they still have a similar looks to them, the kind of, you know, inferred stripes, but this obviously looks very European traditional, like, clothing. This, I said, it infers the Empire a look and the Free City look, but there's some lovely little features in the way that uniform looks that I like the look of that. I don't think I've ever seen a model that looks like that, and I kind of like the idea of it. And then here we have what looks potentially like a dwarf, part of maybe the Free Cities, the dwarves who still kind of live in caverns, so not the fire slayers and not the Caradron overlords, the actual dwarves who still kind of live a traditional lifestyle. Not dwarves, is it? Dawi, or what's it called now? Duradin. There we go. I think it's Duradin. Anyway, so that's quite interesting, and I don't normally talk about the cover and the artwork, but this just gripped me. I want to see more of that. I like that. Okay, so what have we got when we go into it? So it's talking about monsters of the Deadlands, Ragnarok spiders. I want an Ragnarok spider. I love spiders. In fact, I've got something very similar to it from a D&D game, from Lair of the Spider Tyrant. And it's a really cool spider, by the way. It's absolutely huge, big, chunky resin thing. And what else have we got here? Talk about zombie dragons and Gothizar harvesters. Yeah, definitely looks like some kind of hideous undead thing, that. And then moving into, I love stories, so there's a bit of a story talking about life in the mortal realms, which is quite interesting. A lot of lore in this, a huge amount of lore. I love that. I honestly, I got this because I wanted to learn about the lore behind the Age of Sigmar, rather than just reading things online, people's opinions and wikis that can be easily altered. So yeah, and now obviously we're looking here. Now there's a little bit about the wilds and a primal layer, and that's obviously because the models this time are scenery, and you get quite a lot by the look of it. A full magazine length sprue, which I'll show you in a second. So yeah, there's quite interesting things in the scenery. Vents, dead beasts, shards, bubbling pool, huge skull, and some tentacles, because everyone needs tentacles. And we've got some quite interesting. They are push fit ones, but it's terrain, so you can live with that. Goes into how to paint some up, now this is interesting. How to deal with terrain on a battlefield now. So obviously dealing with how it affects cover, saves, and so on. A few more additional war scrolls coming along for different things. So yeah, we're looking at some really interesting stuff in this one that I'm really looking forward to reading later on. And I think terrain is one of those unsung heroes of a battlefield. Anyone who started out like myself back before terrain like this was a thing, obviously you had to either make your own terrain, you could buy it from some specialist places, but even then it was just like trees and maybe if you're lucky like a hill. You know, the terrain, I like building my own terrain. I'll build all my own terrain, to be quite honest. I build my own trees and stuff like that. I'll do it myself. I build my own canals, but I like lore specific terrain, and this is great. And obviously I'd find it hard to build something like that, the kind of Giant's Causeway effect, because that's what it's inferring to me, the Giant's Causeway in Ireland. The beautiful kind of like raised stones. It looks really nice, this terrain. It looks very well done. It's got beautiful details in it. So I said, terrain is an unsung hero of a battlefield. It makes you think. You can't just charge willy-nilly, particularly if you've got vehicles, that need to move around it. They don't have the flexibility of some things. Or if you've got a lot of firing and people are just hiding behind terrain, you do have to think about these things. You do have to work it out. So good terrain makes a battlefield and really makes you think differently about how you're interacting with the other player. So I am finding issue 16 there to be a joy. As I said, right from the front cover, that has me asking so many questions and making me think, what's going on here. So, that's a lovely issue and I'm really pleased with it.